GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm CJ Waterhouse. We'll unpack the violent head-to-head collision sparking concussion talk in the CF Montreal match, review the Alouettes' fourth-quarter comeback, and give you a heads-up on today's lane closure traffic. Also, Le Drip just opened at Eaton Center. Over to you, Jeff.
Festival Haiti on Fire will take place Saturday at Parc Jean Drapeau, featuring 3 stages, local and international artists, and a focus on Haitian culture and cuisine.
Tickets are available online and at the venue, priced at $20 for adults, $15 for seniors, and free for children under 12 with a family pass option.
The festival includes a Haitian art market, cooking demonstrations, and a storytelling corner, scheduled throughout the day from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., welcoming all ages.
We've got plenty on the schedule from music to culture, so stay tuned, lots to get to, and now let's begin. Good morning, Montreal.
During today's CF Montreal home match at Stade Saputo, a violent head-to-head collision between 2 players left one athlete motionless on the field before medical staff intervened. The incident sparked immediate concern among coaches, physicians, and league officials, reviving a broader debate over concussion protocols in professional soccer. The injured player was evaluated on site and subsequently taken to a local hospital for further assessment. While the match resumed after a brief pause, the episode has renewed calls from player unions and health advocates for stricter safety measures, including mandatory baseline testing and on-field neuroassessment tools. Recent high-profile cases across North America have already prompted several leagues to review their medical guidelines, and today's event adds pressure on the MLS and Canadian Soccer Association to accelerate reforms aimed at protecting athletes from head trauma.
Alouettes staged a dramatic comeback Sunday at Stade Percival Molson, overturning a deficit with 14 unanswered points in the final quarter to secure a win over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Canadian football clash saw Montreal's home side trailing by double digits entering the fourth period, but a surge of touchdowns and a field goal shifted momentum. The quarterback led the drive, connecting with receivers for 2 scores that put the Alouettes ahead. The defense tightened, forcing a turnover that set up the decisive field goal. Fans in the stadium erupted as the clock wound down, celebrating a hard-earned victory. The final tally reflected the late rally, leaving the Tiger Cats stunned after a promising start. The win adds a crucial boost to the Alouettes' season standing as they look ahead to their next matchup.
Residents and elected officials in the resort town of Mont-Tremblant have united in a demand for an immediate moratorium on all new housing projects. The coalition says the slate of proposed developments threatens to transform the area's celebrated natural scenery into what they describe as an open pit mine. Town council members presented a formal request to the Regional Planning Authority early this morning, citing concerns that unchecked construction will erode the landscape that fuels the local tourism economy. Community groups have staged a series of sit-ins at the municipal office, urging planners to pause approvals while a comprehensive environmental impact review is conducted. The call comes as developers push forward with several multi-unit complexes slated for the foothills surrounding the ski resort. Officials say they will hold a public hearing within the next 2 weeks to address the residents' grievances.
Quebec's government will today relaunch a disability support program that had been suspended after intense criticism. Officials say the initiative, aimed at providing financial assistance, home care services, and workplace accommodations, will reopen under revised guidelines to address concerns raised by advocates and families. The province notes that 21% of its residents live with a disability, underscoring the scale of need. Critics had argued the previous version lacked transparency and failed to reach the most vulnerable. In response, the new rollout will include an independent oversight board and a streamlined application process, with funding earmarked for both urban and rural communities. The Premier emphasized that the revived program is a core component of the government's commitment to equity and social inclusion. The first applications are set to be accepted later this afternoon.
Today at 8 a.m. GMT, Hydro-Quebec announced the deployment of a new inspection robot built by Tessellate Robotics. The autonomous unit will travel along high-voltage lines and substations, gathering sensor data to spot wear, corrosion, or other defects. By operating continuously day and night, the robot aims to supplement traditional manual checks and give engineers a real-time view of grid health. Hydro-Quebec's transmission system stretches across the province, linking remote generation sites to urban centers, and regular inspections are essential for safety and reliability. Tesselate's platform combines high-resolution imaging with AI-driven analysis, allowing anomalies to be flagged instantly. Officials said the technology could reduce outage risk and streamline maintenance schedules. The pilot will begin on key corridors this week, with plans to expand across the network if performance meets expectations.
Later we'll check on Montreal Pride's tighter security after the Berlin attack, plus more on the game-changing collision. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, that was a quick break. Up next, Jeff Laflamme has the latest local stories you need to hear, so stay tuned.
Yesterday, Quebec's public ambulance service, Urgences Santé, announced a tentative collective bargaining agreement with the provincial government covering more than 1,000 paramedics in the Montreal and Laval regions. The deal ends a protracted period of negotiations that had left the workforce without a contract for several years. The negotiations, which began more than 3 years ago, involved multiple rounds of talks and occasional work to rule actions. Officials said the agreement addresses wages, scheduling and safety provisions, and includes modest wage increases and clearer overtime rules to help retain staff. Final ratification still requires union approval. The government highlighted its commitment to maintaining emergency medical services without interruption, while paramedic representatives emphasized the importance of stable working conditions for frontline responders. Both sides indicated they will move swiftly toward a definitive contract to ensure continued coverage for residents who rely on ambulance services day and night.
Organizers of the city's Pride Festival announced yesterday they are tightening security after the deadly attack on a parade in Berlin. Fierté Montreal said the escalation of threats to large gatherings has prompted a review of crowd control plans, increased police presence, and additional screening at entry points. The festival, set to run through the end of August, will now require all vendors and volunteers to complete a safety briefing and will deploy extra surveillance cameras along the main parade route. Officials also warned attendees to remain vigilant and follow instructions from staff. The move follows concerns raised by the Berlin incident, which left several injured and sparked a broader debate on protecting public events. Festival leaders emphasized that the heightened measures aim to preserve a safe, inclusive atmosphere for participants and spectators alike.
The police pursuit that unfolded yesterday in Montreal ended with 3 individuals taken into custody while a 4th suspect remains at large. Officers launched the chase as part of an ongoing operation, weaving through downtown streets before bringing the vehicle to a halt near the St. Laurent corridor. After the suspect fled on foot, detectives secured 3 arrests on charges related to the original investigation. The search for the remaining individual continues, with uniformed officers canvassing nearby neighborhoods and checking surveillance footage. Residents reported hearing sirens and seeing flashing lights for several minutes, prompting a brief disruption to traffic and local businesses. Police have not released further details about the motives behind the operation, but confirmed the manhunt will stay active throughout the evening. Officials emphasized that the continued effort reflects a broader commitment to public safety and that resources remain fully deployed.
Inter Miami secured a 2-1 victory Saturday night in Montreal, Quebec, despite the absence of Lionel Messi and a mid-match head injury to forward German Berta Rehm. The MLS club traveled to the city for a regular season fixture on July 25 and opened scoring early before Berta Rehm was forced to leave the field after a clash that triggered a concussion protocol evaluation. Coach Phil Neville adjusted the lineup and Miami maintained control, adding a second goal in the second half. Montreal's home side fought back but could not equalize. The match drew roughly 22,000 spectators at Stade Saputo and Miami's goalkeeper kept a clean sheet after the break. Messi, who remains sidelined with a hamstring issue, watched from the bench. The league confirmed Berta Rehm will undergo further medical assessment before returning to training.
Researchers announced on July 26 that a melanoma-type transmissible cancer has been identified in brown bullhead catfish from Lake Memphremagog, which straddles the Quebec-Vermont border. Laboratory analysis of specimens collected this summer revealed that roughly 1/3 of the fish examined carried the malignant cells, which can spread between individuals. The discovery marks the first recorded instance of a transmissible cancer in any fish species. Until now, such cancers have been documented only in a limited number of mammalian hosts. Scientists are beginning a coordinated investigation to determine the extent of the outbreak and to assess potential impacts on the lake's ecosystem and local fisheries. Samples were taken from several points along the lake shoreline to capture a representative population. The team plans to compare the genetic profile of the cancer cells with those of known transmissible tumors in mammals. Ongoing monitoring will focus on tracking the disease's prevalence and evaluating mitigation strategies.
Now let's take a look at your afternoon forecast with our weather team.
A weakening ridge gives way to a southerly trough, priming Montreal for a warm, clear afternoon. On this date, Montreal's all-time high sits at 31.9 degrees, recorded in 2019 during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed daily maxima into the mid-30s across the province. The all-time low is 14.1 degrees, set in 2013 when an Arctic blast slipped far south, snapping a series of sub-20 degree nights. By contrast, the climate normal for July places today's expected high near 26 degrees and the low around 19. So even the record extremes feel far removed from the mild warmth we're seeing. The live radar is completely clear across southern Quebec, with no echoes over the St. Lawrence Basin. That emptiness reflects a dry air mass under a weak, falling pressure pattern, while the low-level jet from the west barely nudges moisture into the region. With the trough still to the north, any precipitation will stay well away. The map stays quiet as we shift to today's outlook. At noon, Montreal sits under a modestly falling, near-average pressure field that allows sunshine to dominate. A gentle west to east jet at about 21 kilometers per hour streams aloft, keeping the mid-level flow stable and preventing any moisture from the Gulf of St. Lawrence from reaching us. Temperatures climb from 26 now to a peak of 29 by mid-afternoon, then ease to 27 as clouds drift in after sunset. The UV index holds steady at 6, reflecting moderate solar intensity under clear skies. Winds remain light from the south, maxing near 13 kilometers per hour, so wind chill is negligible. No weather alerts are in force, and the dry air will hold through the evening. Tuesday brings the first sign of a system sliding east, with temperatures holding near 28 and cloud cover thickening to overcast. The western jet strengthens, ushering a band of rain that will affect most of the island, giving a 60% chance of measurable precipitation. Wednesday stays in the moist flow, with highs slipping to 23 and a 75% chance of light rain as the trough deepens. Thursday follows a similar pattern, high near 22 and 55% rain odds, while the jet begins to lift, hinting at a gradual drying. Friday clears dramatically as high pressure builds, delivering a pleasant 26 with clear skies and calm southerly breezes. Saturday remains mostly clear, with a warm high of 28 and a comfortable low near 18, finishing the week on a bright note. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic with lane closures, Festival Haiti on fire, lights the streets, and Alouettes keep the season alive. Stay with us, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major hindrance in the autoroute Ville-Marie tunnels continues to slow traffic northbound and southbound. The tunnel work forces drivers into a single lane, adding roughly 10 minutes of delay during peak hour and creating a bottleneck at the St. Laurent exit. Second major issue runs between Boulevard Gouin and Boulevard Henry Bourassa, where lane reductions and a stall construction crew have created a queue that stretches to Rue St. Laurent, adding 5 to 10 minutes for eastbound commuters. Minor impacts remain on Pont Victoria's east span, where a lane is closed for bridge repairs, and between Rue Tellier and Rue Notre Dame, where a small obstruction slows the two-way flow. All other arteries, including the downtown grid and the expressways, are moving freely. No transit disruptions have been reported, so subway and bus routes run on schedule. Expect the tunnel delay to linger into the early afternoon, then traffic should normalize.
IVE Montreal lights up the Bell Center tonight. The K-pop sensation delivering a high-energy set that's drawing fans from across the city and promises choreography that will leave you breathless. Just steps away, Festival Haiti on Fire celebrates its 20th edition in Parc La Fontaine today, featuring live bands, a vibrant arts fair, and island flavors that turn the park into a Caribbean street party. If you can wait a day, Ariana Grande takes the Bell Center from July 28 through 31, promising a pop spectacle with soaring vocals, dazzling visuals, and a setlist that will dominate the weekend conversation. And for families, Cirque du Soleil is turning the Time-Out Market into a playground today. Free kids activities, a live mini show, and the Echo photo exhibition give a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the world-famous troupe, perfect for a quick creative break. And now here's Jason with sports.
CFL drama, Habs prospects, and trade whispers heat up Montreal's sports scene. The Alouettes erased a deficit in the closing minutes, sealing a 31-18 victory over Hamilton at Percival Molson Stadium. Kicker Jose Maltos Diaz delivered 2 field goals and a single with under 3 minutes remaining, energizing a crowd of 21,014. Juraj Slavkovsky, fresh off standout showings in the last 2 Olympic tournaments, is being projected onto Team World for the 2027 NHL All-Star Game. The Montreal outlet notes his rising profile could earn him a spot when the Midsummer Showcase convenes. Reports indicate Columbus forward Kirill Marchenko is nearing a trade departure, with Montreal listed among 2 clubs vying for his services. While details remain sparse, the Habs front office appears positioned to negotiate, potentially reshaping the roster ahead of the upcoming season.
Le Drip opens its newest boutique inside the Eaton Centre, right in the heart of downtown Montreal. Known for shaping sneaker culture across the city, the shop curates a rotating mix of kicks, apparel, and accessories that mirror the pulse of streetwear today. The new space adds a vibrant retail hub to a mall already buzzing with shoppers, giving locals a fresh spot to discover limited edition drops and community events. It also creates new jobs and supports local designers who supply the ever-evolving collection. For Montrealers who chase style and community, Le Drip is more than a store. It's a gathering place where the city's street spirit lives on every season. We'll hear how Le Drip is opening a new location at the Eaton Centre, adding flavor to Montreal's downtown scene.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On the bustling Rue St. Laurent, beyond the market stalls, a crowd gathered outside the Montreal SPCA shelter. Volunteers were unloading crates of blankets while a mother cradled a trembling terrier that had spent the night in a box. The animal, rescued after abandoned pets flooded the city on Canada Day, had been turned away from a rental unit because of a strict no-pet clause. Tonight, SPCA Director Isabelle Tremblay announced a campaign urging landlords across the island to scrap those restrictions, arguing bans only push vulnerable animals onto the streets. Volunteer Mark, a retired carpenter, recounted how a family that had just moved into a loft were forced to surrender their rescued cat. With the petition gaining momentum, the landlord reversed his policy, and the cat now sleeps on a sunlit windowsill, purring beside its owners. The terrier's tail wagging as a volunteer hands it a bowl captures the promise that a home can be a safe place for both people and pets. It's a reminder that when a community chooses compassion, every doorstep can become a welcome mat.
In the heart of downtown Montreal, the newsroom's window looks out onto the St. Lawrence River where a modest bakery's chalkboard reads a simple invitation. Vote on August 31st. Across the country, 3 by-elections will fill vacant seats in British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec, each sparked by a resignation, an ambassadorial appointment, and a Senate promotion. In a modest community center on the island of Montreal, volunteers are spreading hand-cut flyers, their laughter echoing as they explain to neighbors why a single ballot matters. A high school teacher in the Laurentians has turned a civics lesson into a mock poll, watching students raise their hands with the same seriousness they give a science experiment. Meanwhile, a market stall in Vancouver's Granville Island hands out reusable tote bags emblazoned with the date, a reminder that participation can be both practical and symbolic. The shared moment arrives when the first voter in each riding steps into the booth, feeling the weight of a community's trust and the promise of representation. Our democracy is strongest when every voice finds its place.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. Today's look at the new robot inspecting Hydro-Quebec infrastructure highlighted how technology is reshaping our province. We appreciate your support. Stay tuned tomorrow for more stories that matter to you. Until then, I'm CJ Waterhouse, wishing you a great afternoon and a safe evening.